Hey guys, we have the new Shoei GT Air 2 in store, so we're going to be running through the differences between the original GT Air and the new GT Air 2. So I have in front of me today two full-face sport touring helmets in the premium range from Shoei. I have the original Shoei GT Air, which was pretty well liked by riders and it's a pretty popular helmet, and then I have the new Shoei GT Air 2. Now, there's been a few changes, a few improvements made, and that's what we're going to run through today, all the differences between the two helmets and what has been made new on the second version of the GT Air series. If you want to see a more dedicated and specialized review focusing just on the Shoei GT Air 2, make sure to check that out on our YouTube channel and subscribe while you're there to stay up to date with everything Shoei GT Air 2 related. So if we start with the shell, the aerodynamics have been reworked somewhat, and you can see that the GT Air 2 has a bit more of a sporty look to it. It comes to more of a point on the chin, whereas the GT Air original was just a little bit more rounded. And we also have a few more creases and lines like that to direct your airflow. On top, it's a very similar story, where they've just kind of reworked it a little bit. Not anything major, but overall, just kind of improvements. So it might be difficult to see, but there's a few more little channels here, and the channeling is going to be a little bit deeper. Not by much, but just by a little bit. Whereas here, it's just much less pronounced. The spoiler as well on the GT Air 2 is going to be just a little bit bigger, so it's going to also help with that airflow. So nothing major, just small little changes, but overall, I think the GT Air 2 does have a bit more of a sporty look to it because of that more pointed, more angular kind of focus. But yeah, so this will help with the aerodynamics and also the noise isolation of the helmet. So the ventilation has been reworked on the GT Air 2 as well, and while it does look quite similar, there are a few little changes. If we start off here at the chin, you'll see that they look quite similar. If I open them up, they also look quite similar. But there's one little change actually I want to point out. On the GT Air 2, there's a little bit of a lip on this vent, so it's just a little bit easier to grip onto, whereas this is a little bit more flat, it's a bit easier to slide off. It's a nice little change that they've added in, I really appreciate that. Then it's still going to bring air onto the visor. It's just going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more efficient on the GT Air 2, which is fair enough. It's an improved version, so that's what we would really want to see. On top, it's the same story. The vents do look a little bit different. You can see that the GT Air 2 has a little bit more of a pointed vent system. It comes to a point here, whereas this one is a little bit more rounded. They still open and close the same. Overall, it's not too much different. It's mainly just going to bring in a little bit more air on the GT Air 2. So a little bit more efficiency there. The biggest difference though is around the back. So I'll show you here on the GT Air. We have this little kind of like wing vent, and it's only one vent and it can be open and closed. Pretty simple. It is gone on the GT Air 2. Instead, what we have is this, these two kind of ridges with the vents coming out, and they're always open. So it's a small difference there. I don't think anyone's going to miss opening and closing that back vent. And it should as well help to maintain a steady or even temperature in your helmet, rather than having to reach around and open up that vent when it gets a little bit too hot, or close it when it gets too cold. So yeah, this is one of the more obvious changes on the GT Air 2. So something else that got some love from Shoei has been the internal sun visor. So let me just open that up all the way, this one too. And you can see the sun visors still controlled in the same way. Nice there. But you might notice on the GT Air 2, it's going to drop a full 5 millimeters lower. It's not too much, but people with the original GT Air were sometimes asking for a lower sun visor. It's nice to see that they have listened, but the cutout for your nose is also just a little bit improved on the GT Air 2. So it's going to give you a little bit more comfort, which is important because it's going to drop lower, so you don't want it hitting your nose. But yeah, if you had the original GT Air and there was something that kind of bothered you, it'll be a nice improvement or advancement. But if you didn't have an original GT Air, you pick this up, you probably won't notice it really. Now, something else that got improved with the visor is going to be the cracked city position. So let's open this up. That is the cracked city position for the original GT Air. And this is what they've done. I was already in that position. This is the cracked city position for the GT Air 2. So that's a nice improvement. Basically, this is way too much. This though, good amount of gap, so you're just going to let a little bit of air in, demist a little bit when you're at lower speeds. So good to see they've added that. It was something that was actually missing from the original GT Air, which was a little bit irritating at times. Now the GT Air 2 does claim to be a very quiet helmet, and luckily that's something we can test directly. So we put them both through our noise beep test, and the results were actually pretty interesting. The original GT Air scored 26 against a control of 17, meaning that it blocked out about 9 decibels of noise. Then the GT Air 2 scored about 23 against a control of 19, meaning that it blocked about 4 decibels. And this was a surprising result. I expected the GT Air to do just much better actually. Perhaps this has been caused by changes made to the ventilation of the helmet or something like that. Now our beep test is only designed to check how much noise is blocked by the helmet itself in terms of like engine noise, environmental noise and stuff like that. And when it comes to wind noise, it should perform much better because it does have those improvements to ventilation and also to aerodynamics. But yeah, it was a little bit disappointing with our beep test. So the final major change has been made to the shell, of course. It's one of the most visible changes. And it's this here. You have compartments that stick out on the helmet. You'll see on the original GT Air, nice and clean. It's pretty much like a smooth surface, nothing there. But these compartments, they're made for the Sena SRL2 communication system. They have a partnership with Shoei, the same kind of thing we saw with the Shoei Neotec 2. You can pop these out with a little tool you get from Shoei in the box. Slide in your Sena SRL2 system, because it's just going to slide in. Do the same on this side. Pop this one out, put in the battery, and then you can take out the speaker inserts, and then there's also a cutout for the microphone and for the wires as well. So it is really prepared for that system. It's nice if you want that system, otherwise it's going to be a little bit more difficult to attach a third-party communication system onto this helmet, which has bummed out a few people in the past. But yeah, the Sena SRL2 has been made specifically for the GT Air 2 and the GT Air 2 for the Sena SRL2 system. So we have a little bit of synergy there. So it will work well in that regard. But that's a major change between the original GT Air and the GT Air 2. So if I flip these helmets up, we can see the liner, and they're pretty much the same. Like they even look the same from this side for the most part. Then do this. Might be a little bit difficult to see, but the connection, I'll close that, for the headliner is smooth here. It's a little bit easier to connect, whereas on the GT Air, the original, it had these ridges, you had to connect them in. It's not too much of a difference overall. I think for me personally, it was a little bit easier to reconnect the liner on the GT Air 2, but overall it's really not a big change. On the GT Air 2, you will also get like the cutout for the microphone we just mentioned for that Sena SRL2. But basically, you know, I'm pretty comfortable in saying that the liner and everything on the inside is almost the same. So the last real change is going to be not super pleasant. They put the price up by about $50 on the GT Air 2 compared to the original GT Air at the recommended retail price. And they did make some improvements and all that, so I'll leave that up to you guys to see if you think it's warranted and justified. But yeah, it's about a 10% increase approximately compared to the original GT Air. Now, if you're looking to get the GT Air 2, don't forget as well, you can find great deals in the product bundles section of the GT Air 2 page. It's only at championhelmets.com. This has been our comparison guide between the Shoei GT Air and the Shoei GT Air 2. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube to stay up to date with everything GT Air 2 related. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you all next time.